What's up, everyone? This is Larry with Yunique Medical, and today I want to talk about ketone esters. I use them a lot in clinical practice, and I use them myself. I use Ketone Aid is the one that I use, and I buy these big jugs of it here. They're not cheap, but they work really, really well. Sorry about the hat today. During this stay-at-home order, my hair is starting to look ratchet. So I figured I'd just put on a hat to cover it up. So back to ketone esters. So ketone esters, there's a lot of people that talk about ketone salts and they know about ketone salts, but I prefer the ketone ester. And I look at ketones as brain fuel for the most part. You know, there's a lot of interest in ketones for high level performance. So professional athletes have been using them, and there's some studies, some good ones, some bad ones, that talk about their ability to enhance their performance and their times and their competitiveness. So KE4 basically means that it's an ester is not bound. Okay, so it's not bound to sodium or to potassium or anything like that, which means it's free. Okay, so in the fact that it's free, it requires less energy to turn it into fuel. So it's going to need less ATP to the power of 4 to make it useful to the body, which converts it to beta hydroxybutyrate or BHB. So that's what actually is going to get took up into the body and cause clinical effects. You know, there's some people out there that are touting that this is great for weight loss and everything. And you know, maybe it is. Where I see that happening the most is it decreases the appetite. So I know from personal experience, when I do the ketone esters, I tend to be less hungry. But that's not why I do it. I don't need to lose weight, but it does make you less hungry, and it helps with those who are trying to fast. So there's this process called fat adaptation, and that's where your body starts to use its own fat for fuel or beta oxidation. And there's a window there. If people are eating horrible and they're not used to fasting, it's hard to go from that to an intermittent fast. So this is where I like to use a little ketone esters in the realm of weight loss. If you do 5 to 10 mLs of it, when you're feeling really hungry first thing in the morning, it can curb that and help you get to like a noontime fast or hit your 16-hour fast mark. So I do like it for that. The reason why I use it personally and the reason why I offer it in the clinic or recommend it is when I have a client with a brain on fire. So there's a lot of research right now that's looking at ketone esters and neurological disease. Like I told you, this is brain fuel, and it requires less energy to get there. So if I have somebody with severe brain fog and I think that they have a brain on fire, I'm doing a lot of things. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of things to control the inflammation in the body, from sodium bicarbonate to the use of a lot of different peptides, to cleaning up the diet, to getting a good exercise regime. But I also do use the ketone esters. They work really, really well here. You can use 5 mLs, 5 to 10 mLs a few times per day. I do it 2 to 3 times per day. I do it first thing in the morning during a fast. I'll do it mid-afternoon, I'll take a sip, and then usually late afternoon right before my ride home, just to give myself a little extra brain pickup when I'm feeling a little sluggish. There is also some information out there that says if you do ketone esters right before bed, it can help induce stage 4 sleep. I did not have that luck. When I did it, it actually turned my brain on, which is what it normally does for me, and I couldn't sleep at all. So you just have to play with the ketones to figure out what's going to work with your body and the best. So side effects of the ketone esters, primarily it's going to be GI discomfort. So that can be bloating, gas, a little nausea, some irritation. If you do too much ketone esters, chase it with some coffee, you will have diarrhea. So you do have to build up the tolerances. Ketone esters are also known to lower blood sugar or glycolysis. Having a little tongue tie there. Glycolysis. There we go. So it does have an effect on that. So it does lower my blood sugar. My blood sugar can get down to around 60 and make me slightly lightheaded. So once again, you got to play with it. Those that are diabetic really have to be careful, especially if they're taking their medication and doing the ketone esters. So ketone esters can be powerful, simple but powerful, and they're easily obtainable. That's the company that I happen to use. Some of the science behind it. So the ketones, this is going to get a little complicated. So if you don't want to listen to this part, you can stop right here and just get some ketone esters. So ketone esters work on a cell cycle. All right, they work on a FOX gene. So FOXO gene expression. So that means that it's going to have some effects on longevity. Okay, and it also works on the FOX3 as a potent transcriptional activator, meaning that it's involved in the cell cycle, cell arrest, DNA repair, metabolism of the cell, hypoxia, and then the body's cells' ability to be resistant to stress. Also has the ability to increase autophagy upon starvation. I really like it for that. So autophagy is your body's ability to eat all the garbage cells. So in a starving state, or let's call it fasting, we're not really starving ourselves, your body will, ketone esters will help the body go around and eat up all the garbage cells. So these are some good processes. So it's working on cell metabolism and DNA and cell efficiency. It's cleaning up the garbage cells. It's helping our brain. It upregulates nuclear respiratory factor 2 and downregulates NLRP3. This is an inflammasome. This is not what we're going to get into. This is also how it helps the brain. So inflammasome sounds like inflammation, right? It's inflammation in the brain from a macrophage called a microglia cell. So it dampens that, all right? So we're feeding the brain, decreasing the inflammation in the brain. And then we also upregulate NAD, NADH pools in the body. So a lot of people know about NAD and energy production. So this is where the ketone esters come into play with that. So there's a lot of cellular processes that are affected by ketone esters. The take home is 2 types of people that could probably benefit from this very simply is, I love it for brain fog people. First, you got to figure out why you have the brain fog, okay? But then ultimately, this is a good tool to help with it. And number 2, I like it for those that are trying to get into intermittent fasting, but are struggling, okay? It's going to help them with that bridge. So that's kind of just a little nutshell talk about ketone esters. You know, you can go so deep with the science behind this particular product or anything that I talk about, but that's just kind of surface level what I wanted to get across with just kind of how it works, that I use it with brain fogs and brain on fire, and it's brain food. So that's basically the information what I wanted to get across. So get out there and get optimized, everybody, and use some ketone esters as a tool. Have a good day.